Good morning and thank you for joining me for this, the review of The Dark is Rising, the actual book after which the series The Dark is Rising by Susan K. Cooper is named. I've already reviewed the first one, that was Oversea Under Stone. I will link that below, I think I'll remember to do that. And that was a great book in its own way. The Dark is Rising was written almost a decade, if not an actual decade, after the first one. And the series is named after it because the first one was meant to be a standalone. And the tone between the two is very different. Now, the quote for The Dark is Rising, which many people who read it as children remember, is, "This night will be bad and tomorrow will be bad beyond imagining." And that's a great quote. And it hooks you, and it stays with your memory. And this book stayed with me too. You are not chewing books. We've had this discussion. No book chewing. This is The Dark is Rising when it comes to book chewing. It's a great book. Completely different in tone from the first one, which felt very innocent era children's book. It felt more like a children's book. Beautifully written, but more like a children's book. In The Dark is Rising, it feels a bit older. Our protagonist, Will Stanton, is just about to have his 11th birthday, but he's a pretty mature 11. I'm going to say that if you'd have told me he was 15, I would have probably believed that too. And the whole tone of the book, this is very much more a hero's quest, growing into one's power sort of book, whereas the first one was just more of an innocent children's book. So the book starts on Midwinter's Eve, which is the day before Will's 11th birthday, and there's some weird stuff happening. Will is a normal kid. He's got a large family. They live in a farmhouse, and I thought this one was going to be set in Wales, but I think really it isn't. It's set near the Thames, so yeah, I don't know why I thought Wales. It's set near the Thames, not too far from Windsor Castle. My English geography isn't great, but I think that's more in the centre. Anyhow, Midwinter's Eve, the day before his 11th birthday, and there's a whole heap of weird stuff happening. There's a tree of rooks that has been dive bombing people. There's some strange things. Will one day finds, doesn't really notice it, but whenever he goes next to the radio malfunctions. Animals one day seem to dislike him. There's some weird stuff happening in Will Stanton's life. Now, they're a family of 9 children. I think it's 9 children. It's a huge family. Their father's a jeweler. The book does a good job of not dwelling over much on the individual children and trying to introduce them all. That's a lot of children to introduce. It introduces them as you need them, but not much. This is a very one-person POV, one-person focused book. Will is it. Now, the night before his birthday, he and one of his brothers go down to the neighbouring farm to grab some straw and other things, and they see this strange tramp wandering around, and at the Dawson's farm, the farmer Dawson says to Will, "It's before your 11th birthday, here's a present for you." And he hands him a little iron metal symbol that is the symbol on the book, the cross in the circle. And he said, "Put that on your belt," and he gives him all these dire warnings that foreshadow what's going to happen. And this is very strong on the evil of the dark and Will rising into his power. It's not a recent book. It's from 1973, so I don't think I can really spoiler it. At the time, it won a Newbery Honour Award and was described as a tale with strong folklore elements of Celtic and Arthurian mythology. I think it's kind of got mythology from everything. You've got the mythology of Christmas and the solstice, and he learns that there's this group of old ones, and he is one of them, even though he's born into a normal family. He's no changeling or anything, but he is an old one, and it is his job in this eternal battle between light and dark to join the 6 symbols, and the metal cross in a circle that he was given is the first of them. So it's this ongoing battle with the dark doing horrible things, and that's partly why I feel it's a bit older than maybe a 10 or 11-year-old book. It is very dark, and there's some bad stuff happening. There's even a death. So a lot of us, I think, this was one of the early books that was a gateway into fantasy. It is fantasy. I've also seen some recent criticisms about it. While this hasn't dated as badly as Oversea Under Stone, which feels old, it is still quite old. And while it's a more contemporary setting than Oversea Under Stone would be, it still feels a little bit dated in a few ways. I really liked it. I just took it as an aspect of the times where it was. It could have done equally well as a 70s, 60s or 80s book. But I have seen that criticism. The other criticism I've seen for this is that it's too much of a grab bag of mythology. It's got everything. It's got the 11th birthday for Will Stanton, when it all starts. You've got the 7th son of the 7th son motif, even though Will doesn't know he's a 7th son to begin with. That rises out. You've got the Lady of Light. You've got the Wizard Merriman. Professor Merriman Lion Gumari from the first book is the only carryover from the first book we really get. And so it is rather dark and gloomy with a lot of different symbolism thrown in there. And I loved it. What can I say? This was a 5 out of 5 read for me. Would it have been if I hadn't read it before? I'm not sure, but quite possibly, because it is quite beautifully written. Susan Cooper's writing capacity is excellent. If you've got a child who loved the Harry Potter series, this might not be the series for them to go straight into. That one has got more fun, joy de vivre, it's more childlike. This is less childlike and more dark-like, because the dark is rising. I thoroughly enjoyed it. I do recommend it. If you are thinking of reading the Dark is Rising sequence, or you know anyone who is, and I know that these days they sell them as a box set, I would suggest a fairly significant break between the first one and the second one, simply because the voice is so different, the structure of the book is so different. If you have someone who finds that they can't really get into the tone of Oversea Under Stone, feel free to go straight to The Dark is Rising, read through, and then maybe go back and read the first one. The things that happen in that first book are not impactful enough on this one, though they are referenced once or twice. So, what else can I say, other than I hope you can't hear those noises coming from the roof. Maybe I need a new microphone. Great book. Nothing else I can really say about it. There's The books that were influenced by Cooper reading Robert Graves' study of the White Goddess, which I haven't read. And there's a lot of the Herne the Wild Hunt is in there. Like I said, grab bag of all the types of stories that you ever loved. Thanks for watching. First Thoughts review. I will review the whole thing as a series if I finish it. Have a great day. Read good books.